The financial universe once stood in awe of Charles Ponzi, a man who showcased unprecedented investment success. He was America's financial golden boy with millions at his fingertips and throngs of eager investors. However, behind this golden facade lurked a dark secret, a fraudulent venture that would tarnish his name forever. Today, on Enterprise Epics, we delve deep into one such enigmatic tale, a journey of ambition, allure, deception, and the relentless pursuit of the American dream. Born under the sun-kissed Italian skies on March 3, 1882, Ponzi was heir to a legacy that had tasted affluence in the past. However, his immediate family only held a shadow of that wealth, something that haunted young Charles. To him, the riches and comfort that his ancestors had enjoyed should have been his birthright. As fate would have it, he soon received a minor inheritance. With dreams bigger than textbooks, instead of investing it in education, Charles splurged on high-end suits and gourmet dinners, believing himself to be among the elite. But the money, just like sand, slipped through his fingers, forcing him to confront a bitter reality. Fearing mediocrity and refusing to settle for a humdrum life, he set his sights on America, the land of dreams. When Charles set foot on American shores in 1903, it wasn't the welcome he'd dreamt of. From painting signs in New York to serving coffee in Florida, the hustle was real. Dishonesty was his regular companion as he hopped from one job to another. Fate then took him to Montreal, where, ironically, he found employment at a bank whose foundation was as shaky as his own intentions. The bank, Banco Zerosi, promised staggering interest rates. Little did the public know that new investments paid for the old, in a precarious balancing act. Soon, the scheme crumbled, leaving Charles grappling for an exit. But, as if drawn to trouble, he attempted one last scam before fleeing Canada, only to be imprisoned for forging a check. If you're enjoying the story so far, don't forget to subscribe to Enterprise Epics for more captivating tales. After a stint in jail, Charles ventured back to America, his indomitable spirit undeterred. He continued dabbling in odd jobs, eventually finding a semblance of stability in Boston with the J.R. Poole Company. As if making up for lost time, love graced his life. He met Rose Gnecco, and the two soon tied the knot. Yet, contentment was a distant dream for Charles. Desiring to provide a luxurious life for Rose, he left his stable job, further diving into the world of business. After a series of unsuccessful ventures, destiny played a peculiar card. A letter from Spain introduced him to the concept of international reply coupons, IRCs. Charles saw an opportunity for arbitrage, where he could exploit price discrepancies across borders. This idea birthed the Securities Exchange Company. On paper, the concept was simple. Buy IRCs where they're cheap, sell where they're expensive. In reality, the model was unsustainable. But Charles was a maestro of persuasion. He lured investors with promises of a 50% return in just 45 days. The money poured in, and for a while, it seemed Charles had struck gold. However, just as meteoric as his rise was, so was his downfall. The house of cards began to wobble as the Boston Post, once his supporter, began to probe. The cracks in Charles's scheme became chasms. When the scheme collapsed, lives were shattered, savings evaporated, and Charles faced the music of justice. Yet, to truly comprehend the enigma that was Charles Ponzi, one must venture beyond the headline-grabbing schemes. Beneath the veneer of grandeur lay a complicated character, shaped by both ambition and desperation. His Italian upbringing, set against the backdrop of a once prosperous family, played a pivotal role in shaping his psyche. The contrast between his family's storied past and its modest present became a driving force. He yearned to reclaim the affluence that he believed was his birthright. America beckoned with promises of opportunity, and for Ponzi, it represented a fresh canvas upon which he could paint his dreams. Yet, what awaited was far from his fantasies of wealth and ease. The reality of immigrant life in early 20th century America was harsh, filled with challenges and bitter disappointments. The American dream, however, is intoxicating. Even amid struggles, Ponzi glimpsed opportunities. His endeavors, though often marred by deceit, showcased a relentless drive. This tenacity, combined with his charisma, made him both compelling and dangerous. As his dreams grew in audacity, so did his ventures in deception. The Securities Exchange Company, his most infamous venture, wasn't just a product of cunning, but also of timing. Post-World War I, America was in a transitional phase, with many eager to invest in promises of quick riches. Ponzi's allure wasn't just the staggering returns he promised, but also the confidence with which he sold his dream. Behind the scenes, the chaos was mounting. As more money poured in, the pressure to maintain the illusion intensified. It's said that Ponzi lived in constant fear during this period, always wary of being exposed. Yet, outwardly, he maintained a facade of control, even splurging on luxuries to project an image of success. Rose Gnecco, his young wife, was often kept in the dark about the intricacies of his operations. Their love story, set amidst this tumult, was both touching and tragic. While she initially reveled in the luxuries Ponzi's success brought, the looming shadows of his deceit cast a pall over their relationship. As the walls began to close in, Ponzi's desperation grew. He attempted to diversify, looking at other avenues to sustain his empire. But with mounting scrutiny and a relentless media, time was running out. The Boston Post's expose was the final nail in the coffin, but Ponzi wasn't one to give up easily. Even when faced with overwhelming evidence and a rapidly eroding public trust, he attempted to salvage what remained of his tarnished reputation. After the fall of the Securities Exchange Company, Ponzi, ever the dreamer, clung to the belief that he could restart, reimagine, and rebuild. This unyielding spirit led him to Florida. Here, he envisioned another grand venture, Charpon Land Syndicate. The very name was a nod to his past. Char from Charles and Pon from Ponzi. His Florida endeavor, much like his previous ventures, was built on grand promises. Promising a 200% return in just 2 months, Ponzi was effectively offering a miracle. But the American public, once bitten, was now twice shy. With memories of his past schemes still fresh, Ponzi found it challenging to find the same enthusiasm and trust he once commanded in Boston. It's essential to understand that Ponzi was operating in a pre-internet era. News traveled slower, and information wasn't as readily accessible. This allowed him to migrate and attempt to restart his operations. But as word spread of his activities in Florida, skepticism grew, and authorities began to take notice. The swamplands he was peddling as prime real estate were symbolic of the mirages he sold. Ponzi's magic lay not in delivering on promises, but in making people believe in them. However, in Florida, the illusion was harder to maintain. When his plans unraveled once again, desperation took hold. The attempts to flee, to reinvent himself, and to seek leniency were acts of a man cornered. Ponzi's appeals to President Calvin Coolidge and Mussolini showcase a man grasping at straws, hoping for a lifeline. However, fate had other plans. The subsequent imprisonments and the relentless media spotlight took a toll on Ponzi, both mentally and physically. The charismatic man, who once held audiences captive with his charm, was a shadow of his former self. The glint in his eye, once indicative of dreams and schemes, now reflected the weight of his failures. His final days in Rio de Janeiro paint a melancholic picture. The man who once dazzled Boston's elite was relegated to obscurity, eking out an existence far from the limelight that once defined him. The grandeur and promise of the American dream had both elevated and destroyed him. Charles Ponzi's story is a cautionary tale of ambition without boundaries, of dreams built on shaky foundations, a journey from the pinnacle of success to the depths of despair, teaching us that not all that glitters is gold. Thank you for joining us on this epic journey. If you found this tale captivating, hit that like button and subscribe for more incredible stories on Enterprise Epics.